Hey, it's Roxanne, EARTH1111. I want to talk today about what I see coming up in the world. It's not something that's going to happen next year, the year after. We are moving into it in real time. We're seeing the changes happen out there in the world. Now, how crazy and how bad is it going to get? Now, so we can call this my predictions, but again, I will never tell you what to ever think. I want you to always do your own research and mostly tune out of all the stuff out there. Remember, they're using your consciousness. They want you plugged in to all that fear, to all the horrible things that are coming up, because they want to steal your energy. That is what feeds the system. Well, a lot of people think it's just the money that we put into the system that supports it. It goes deeper than that, right? They need your attention. They need you plugged in to an old timeline of absolute chaos, terror, fear. So, how bad is it really going to get? I will never tell you dates because, again, we are moving up and down timelines every single moment. So just know how important you are in order to counteract a lot of this stuff. Again, we don't focus on it, but we need to know about the light and the darkness in order to unify. Right? A lot of people don't want to know about all the bad stuff because they want to put their attention in it to feed it. We need to know about what's going on in the world, right? The different programs, the different manipulation that's going on out there. So you can then unplug your consciousness, take it back, and get into your empowerment. So again, we don't need to know about everything coming up, right? And all the problems in the world. We need to know about really the underlying programs that are manipulating us. Right, that are keeping you linked into old timelines yourself, right? Because again, we're fractaled out. Any part of you that is not healed is existing in one of those lower programs. It is literally, you are living partly in old timelines, in these timelines that are really breaking apart. So we know that the entire system has to break down in order for the new to be birthed. Okay, so we can't just have this easy transition when no one is learning their lessons. We need people to understand sovereignty. The entire system has been created in reverse, right? Everything is backwards. Everything is created to create a sick world of unhappy people, right? And again, I will get into more detail as we go throughout the video. I want to talk about many different topics and categories. And again, comment below what you guys want me to talk about. You know, what else, so I can do another video and give you some more insight. So again, this is not based on me channeling or based on, right, I have some insider in the inside. This is all based on just a deep knowingness, right? Seeing things unfold over many, many years that I've just been watching the system that is completely backwards. So know that I will never give you any dates. I will never say that this is what's going to happen, because we are shape-shifting so much. And you are one of the key players if you're watching this video, right? You have the power to step into your core center to create a new world over top of the rubble. So know that the old has to crumble. It's been based on false realities for so long. We've been suppressed, right? Our consciousness, people have been enslaved, right? So again, I will talk about more as we go on, but yeah, just understand how powerful you are. And that it's not about, you know, hoping it all goes away, right? A lot of people don't want to know about the bad stuff, but they're completely eating foods that are artificial, plugging them right into the system that they can't stand, right? Who owns the different grocery stores that you guys shop at, right? Are you shopping on Amazons? Are you supporting the Costco's? Well, guess who owns these things, right? So again, it's all a process of us coming into our sovereignty. Little skeeter here. But understand that it's up to you to be able to learn how to not worry about avoiding the storm, to step right in that 0 point of that storm. Show the world what's important. Show the world your light. Shine as bright as you can and learn to dance in the rain. Because that's what it's about. Right? We can't avoid the crumbling of the old. But what we can do is we can rebuild the new and start shining our light and supporting those small businesses, supporting those people that are creating that new world. On that note, if you'd like to donate, I do accept donations. I really appreciate anything you guys would like to offer. I know I never mentioned it on here, but I will put the link in the description below. So thank you so much to those that have donated as well. So just understand that, right, when we put our money, our attention, when we support the new, that's where the old goes away, right? We don't need to fight it and tell all these people off and get angry, even though that's a part of it, right? That is a stepping stone to moving beyond that, right? That's a separation consciousness, that there's bad people that you need to out and that you need to fight against. But really it's about you moving into your core and not being pushed around by society out there at all. So it's all about you. You have so much power in this. So as we go through the video, just understand that this is just what I see coming down. Right? It's just to understand that how bad the system has been. Right? A lot of people think that they're free. Right? A lot of people don't even have a clue that what they've been doing in their life hasn't been making them happy. Right? So it's only when we uncover more and more and more and more layers of ourselves do we start looking around and realizing, what is this life that I created? What is this world? We are moving into extremes right now for a reason. The entire system out there is breaking down. So the good is going to get better and the bad is going to get worse. So just have that in mind. So remember, universal creation energy. What's going on right now with ascension energies, with the solar flares, with the, right, we are in a massive transformation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, New Earth, I have lots of other videos that you guys can check out after this one. But we are in not just, right, a little bit of a shift out there for a while, for a couple of years. This is an absolute core transition into multidimensionality. We're going from 3D to being able to perceive all dimensions all at once. Now what happens is everything has to come into us. We are the singularity, which means that the stuff you ignore festers and it gets bigger and it becomes this shadow that you try to escape, right? You try to just hold your vibration as high as you can and tune all that out. But it gets bigger because, again, polarity integration. So the whole love light and ignore the darkness is actually, once again, a hijack of spirituality, of the ascension time. Because, right, when we ignore what's going on in the world, we're not willing to then make the changes within ourselves, right? We live unconsciously. We're spending, buying the next, contraption, just so you can fill the void. You becoming a new person, you ascending, you moving into New Earth, is not about you dropping some, mushrooms or meditating or doing some ayahuasca and then going about your business, right? The rest of your day is completely different, is completely unaligned to what you're trying to create within yourself. Ascension is about you becoming a master at every single level of yourself. So again, enough of the lecturing. Let's get into now the topics. So let's get right into, is there going to be food shortages? Well, it's easy to look around and you can see what scenario is being created out there. Okay, so of course we have, certain individual parasites of the planet buying up massive amounts of farmland. Right, we have the multinational corporations just destroying the rest of any original nature spots. So cutting down. So I live in BC in Canada. What they like to do, cut down every single tree, right? Some of these trees are 2,000 years old. So again, they're destroying the rivers. They are taking the water. And by they, I'm meaning, right, the big multinational corporations that are owned by very few people. So again, when you have a lot of the farmland being bought up, you have a lot of destruction of the original, of nature. You have pesticides coming in. You have people growing the wrong foods, right? GMO. You have everything going on. This becomes we get to a tipping point, and then there's just going to be less food, of course, especially when we have certain individuals buying up the farmland, and they don't plan on actually creating organic gardens, do they? So you know who I'm talking about. So again, there's multiple individuals, but you know, right, you get the gist of it. Now, what we also have going on, and again, I have, so my friend has, you know, he's from a farm, has seen directly, you know, this isn't something, you know, some insider or some other person saying this. So last year it started with, he calls them the black suits. Showed up on his family farm. We're walking on people's fields without permission. We're just out there doing whatever they wanted. So again, right, they were approached obviously by, you know, many different farmers. Why are you on our land? What are you doing? No, of course they lied and said whatever, but what they were really doing is taking water samples and soil samples, right? And so we can already see in Europe what's going on. They, you know, there's certain countries that are banning fertilizers, right? Of course, fertilizers, pesticides, all these different things, right, that farms have been using forever at this point. All the different things that they're doing, this has been a system that was pushed, of course, right, for farmers to use certain patented, you know, seeds, GMO seeds, right, that of course need, you know, because it's such dead energy, that they need certain fertilizers, certain, you know, nitrogen and things like that, because the soil is so dead. Well, this is a process, right? They've gone on for forever. Now all of a sudden, so again, we see this in Europe right now with a lot of countries banning fertilizers. So of course, what happens is the soil is already so dead and so toxic that you ban the fertilizers that are needed for specific seeds and for food to grow. There's no food. So they are creating false food shortages. And of course, right, so things like fertilizers, we have to, of course, right, go back to basics as far as farming goes. We have to get to the point where, you know, we are not using pesticides, certain fertilizers, things that are toxic to the planet. But that has to be a process. It can't be in 1 year, all of a sudden, everything's banned. Oh, guess what? There's no food. Surprise, surprise. That is a ploy. So again, the black suits that showed up in Saskatchewan at my friend's farm, right? Of course, they are taking as much as they can, samples this, samples that, because they're planning on who they're going to, right? Who has the best land they want to seize, right? This is a seizure of land. Okay, this has been going on, right? This has been their plan, of course, right? They're trying to decrease the amount of food. So they're creating these false, you know, food shortages. And of course, everything, inflation, we can see that going on. So of course, inflation is so bad right now. People just can't afford as much food as well. And then of course, gas prices, fuel prices are going up, right? The prices to heat, you know, certain warehouses, things like that. So everything is going up in price. There's less ability to ship food, so of course everything's going jacked up in price. So that's also creating food shortages because people just cannot afford to ship as much food around the planet, which again, that is not a self-sufficient way to do things. But we need to understand that in order to go from an absolute back-asswards, you know, way of doing things, way of growing food and shipping it across the world and this and that, we have to, right, what should be done is very slowly, over a couple year period, create the infrastructure to then, right, make the people that are growing locally, give them incentives, give people incentives to buy locally, right? We have to change the behaviors of society, and we have to change, right, how we farm, right? Everything needs to change, but we can't do it in a matter of, okay, right now it has to change. Well, of course, the land has to go back to a more natural way. It takes time, right? This takes a little bit of time. So, of course, if we're ascending, then we shouldn't be eating as much packaged food anyways. So try to get some local, you know, fresh things that you can be eating, because, right, the packaged stuff is going to be dwindling only because it's going to get so expensive, right? And packaged food isn't food anyway. Right? So try to buy local, try to support your local farmers, and you need those nutrients. You need the light codes in that food, which means that you need to have something that was picked preferably today, right out of the ground, not shipped from around the world, because then by the time you eat it, it's dead food. And it also allows you to, to keep track of the food that you're eating, right? Because most food nowadays is garbage. And of course, as I always say, get yourself into abundance timelines, get yourself into the core of yourself, right? Do the healing so you're not fractaled out, because when you're fractaled out, that is where you're going to be, right, pushed around by the world. When you're sitting in your core truth, when you are making those changes in your life, when you're aligning to your highest purpose, you are in abundance. You're not going to be worrying about food shortages because you are in abundance. You will always have what you need. Right? When we are serving humanity, right, serving the planet, helping support the one infinite creator, why would you go without, right? You are doing a lot of work. So know that you are going to be protected, but you have to be following those inner guidance. So again, check out my video, October is Insane. On that one, I give you 3 tips, well, many different tips in that video on how to move into your greatest soul mission. Right now, as chaos is going to be erupting on the planet. So again, watch that video for more tips. But yeah, understand that, right, when we live in lack, that is where we could be caught up in lack. So it's not a time to hoard food, right? If you're hoarding a bunch of packaged food, or canned food, for example, well, we don't eat canned food, right? If you eat canned food, you're absorbing aluminum. So it really has to be about, right, have something on hand, have something for a bit, but have those healthy options. Have seeds, nuts, right? Have also seeds, for you to sprout. Just have things on hand that are going to actually support your frequency. Because if you're just hoarding a bunch of packaged food, well, how is that going to help you? That's just going to bring you down into a nosedive, into lower timelines. So again, it's all about your frequency. Be in abundance, receive abundance. It's as simple as that. Live in lack, right? Live against the grain of your soul, then you're going to be seeing lack. Because that, again, is just telling you, it's trying to teach you a lesson. Okay, this is the wrong road. I've been doing this for 20 years. It's not aligned to me. Make those changes right now. This is the month for action. So again, watch my other video, October energies, for a lot more. Okay, let's talk about extreme weather, right? Climate change, the big thing, right? We always hear about. Now, it's interesting, as usual, the multinational corporations, the ones that hold the big companies, right? The Nestle's of the world, things like that, they're able to do whatever they want, destroy as many rivers as they want, right? Dump all their chemicals straight into the ocean and right, ship everything all over the planet. They're able to do that. Oh, but you're the horrible person that that drives a vehicle. How dare you, right? Typical ploy, right? They create a society where everyone wants a vehicle, right? That becomes the norm, and then now you're the horrible person that is still driving a vehicle that's not a Tesla, or that's not this electric vehicle. And again, that's because, right, that's a whole nother thing, but that's because they want you on the grid, right? So when people have gas vehicles, they don't, right, they're not monitored. So again, this are the whole, beyond the whole point of this category. So extreme weather is being caused by 2 main reasons, of course, right? We have the planet ascending. Massive amounts of plasma coming into the planet, right? Solar flares daily. Now, with that amount of extreme frequencies coming in, the planet needs to adjust, needs to purify toxins, right? So a lot of us are the acupuncture points for these energies, as well as the ones that get to, right, transmute a lot of the darkness. Now, what you don't realize is we have all these, again, negative forces, these, right, people that want to keep and maintain their power in the world and their control over people. They're doing everything they can to counteract, to block out the sun, right? They're doing all these different things to counteract ascension, to counteract people from awakening, from having energy, from being activated. So they are creating extreme weather, literally. And that what that's doing also is that's creating the emergency that we need to do something right now to counteract, climate change. So they're creating, right, of course, that one world agenda. So if you're not on board with their plan, and they give you only one plan, right? This is the plan and this is our plan, and too bad for you if you have a better idea of how to help the environment, right? So if you're not on board with our plan, right, and this is infiltrated everywhere at this point, if you're not on board, then you're the enemy. So of course, if you don't, go along with the plan, then you're an outsider. So all of these amazing ideas that are coming out, right? Free energy, plasma technologies, they're just suppressed, right? Or they're shut down right away. Or there's some type of, litigation against them. So everything that is actually going to be improving the planet is suppressed. And their one world agenda to, take control and create an entire planet of a hive mind that just goes with it. Oh, it sounds plausible. We need to save the planet. It's right. There's climate change. The planet's dying. Well, then how about the multinational corporations start actually doing something to stop, polluting every 5 seconds, to stop, taking all the freshwater resources? How about you have a limit on how much farmland certain people can own, right? There's so many different ways that we can improve the planet, not allowing some corporation to have total, to pull the strings to the politicians, to then have all of these laws come in that are completely for their benefit. And meanwhile, the public, we're the horrible ones, right? We need the carbon tax. We need this. We need that. Because our carbon footprint is terrible. Well, I'm sorry. These politicians are flying around the world, going on luxury vacations that they call, right, meetings. And they don't seem to worry about their carbon imprint. So back to the whole thing of, right, we need to be taking care of this planet, which means to the changing the structures at the actual core level, not just a couple fluffs, right, for their next plan. Well, electric vehicles is not a good plan, for one, because electric vehicles use a lot of metals, right? They need to be destroying mountainsides everywhere, to get the silver, to get the copper, the gold, all these different things that they need for the microchips, right? Same as all our smartphones, things like that. So their plan is never good, right? Their plan to counter this and that is never going to fix anything. It's always a band-aid and a band-aid, right? And it's an idea that's never going to be even as good as, right, as it could be if people that were actually caring about the planet, they didn't have an agenda, to control everybody and take over and get everyone sucked into the metaverse. Well, they take all the resources, right? So again, I can go on and on and on, but yeah, I want to talk more about, I said, extreme weather in a different video, because, it is happening. It is going to continue to, right, create all these scenarios of emergency more in the right, create more fear, right, take away the last money that they have, right? So it's all these different reasons why a lot of these extreme weather events are being orchestrated. They have a lot of different technologies that control the wind, control a lot of different things. So this is just, right, at this point, we all know about this, right? So again, I'm not using certain words because I'm not trying to get this video, too censored, because again, in the past, I have used certain words, literally, just barely a word, and my video goes nowhere. So again, I'm trying not to use certain words, but right, the gist. So same as all the, they can't sit there and say that they care about the environment. Well, they are radiating and electrifying the planet with all these cell phone towers, all these satellites, all of this stuff that is killing trees, killing people. Oh, but they care about the environment apparently. And you don't. You're the horrible person that needs a carbon tax. So again, anyways, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Just the typical lies that we've heard forever. So the economy from day one has been created. The whole American dream that everyone, needs to own their own home and have this, right, this job that they worked and they, just to pay their debts, right? This is a debt enslavement system. So So again, as Ascension, right, as the energies are not supporting people being enslaved, having to work their whole life just to pay off their mortgage. And then of course, right, there's always something that takes their equity, right? So, okay, so the economy has been based on falsehoods since day one. So it was created to make a few people at the top money, and everyone else just believes that they have wealth, right? When you own a home, right, a lot of people think, oh, you know, I need to own my own house with 5% down, you know, with the 4%, you know, insurance premium, you know, for not having 20% down. Well, you don't own your own home. The bank owns it. So you're just enslaved now to work the rest of your life. And again, we change all the time, so we can't expect something that we, you know, that we thought we wanted to work, or some, you know, some degree or some certification that we thought we loved. Well, five years later, 10 years later, you're a different person, right? We are evolving by the minute at this point. So to get yourself, you know, entrapped into a job to work until you're 65, things kind of like seem to be artificially held up right now, right? The economy is spurting, but it's not really doing a nosedive. Now, I believe that, you know, something big could happen, of course, at the end of this month, maybe beginning of November with, right, we have a lot going down. We have elections in the States. We have the astrology matches very similar astrology to November 2008. So remember what happened then. So again, I don't worry about, right, the astrology or this or that, but I just see trends. Okay, so we have an entire planet that, you know, went pretty much a whole year without working during the last 2 years. So of course, right, less productivity, less money coming in. And then we have, all of a sudden, inflation is out the roof. Okay, so now people that already didn't have much disposable income have none now, right? It's a matter of they just need to be able to pay the rent or the mortgage and buy food for the family. There's nothing else. There's no extra to go to restaurants. There's no extra to shop at the mall, right? Even though lots of people, of course, use shopping as a vice to fill the void. So even though people, right, should not be, a lot of people are racking up credit cards, are really going into debt because they have just this hole in them that they need to fill. So again, I've been there, right? So everything I tell you is from my life, right? So I've been through it all. But yeah, things are getting so expensive, right? The price of fuel. Now, the price, you know, to heat your home is going to be out of control. Of course, we have literally people, you know, blowing up pipelines. You know, there's no common sense out there, right? It's that, you know, oh, gas is so terrible for the environment, so let's just blow one up in the ocean to try to, you know, slow down so-and-so from, you know, getting his money, right? So again, you know what I'm talking about? I'm not going to say words, but, right, these people don't have common sense. It's like, you know, they can't sit there on one hand and say, oh, you know, the climate change is horrible, we need to do this, this, and this, and then pull that crap, right? So again, there's no common sense. Everything is backwards. Know that if you're looking around the world and it is absolutely ridiculous, don't worry, I'm right with you. Everything is out of control right now. So again, things have been like this forever. We're just seeing now the next steps of, right, of course, the shadow of the collective, all the things that have been hidden coming up to the surface, as well as, like I said, the negative forces trying to suppress, right, trying to create this entire, again, I want to talk about that in another video about their plan. But yeah, we see it everywhere. Things are out of control because, right, the next steps have been infiltrated have been implemented. They're trying to create this outcome that is not ascension, that is not people actually gaining that freedom of their consciousness, right? They need people suppressed. They need these frequency fences any way they can. Again, I'm getting off topic here. So So the economy is going to be out of control simply because people are living beyond their means. I don't know how many people bought a home in the past 2 years. It blows my mind. Did they not see what's coming up the pipe, right? So again, right, people are at that point. They don't have extra cash. They don't have extra money. So things are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. People are going to start, these restaurants and stores, things that really aren't the essentials are going to be closing. And unfortunately, that's a lot of, people that are employed that are going to be losing their jobs. Now, this is not to be, this is all based on just common sense. You just look around and you can see it. We've been living beyond our means for so long, right? Governments are just printing money at this point. Everyone is in debt, including the government, right? Including every government. So it's an entire system, again, based on trying to keep people suppressed, right? Trying to take your time in lieu of money because you need it to survive. So it keeps people in that survival consciousness, right? They need you in that. They want you locked in to a big mortgage. So again, the past 2 years, the prices went out of control in the real estate market for no reason. It was all false. There was no reason for it other than trying to get those things racked up to get people locked in into massive amounts of debt that they have to work the rest of their life for. So that is not freedom. Okay, like I said, a lot of people, believe that they're living the hustle and bustle, and they have that amazing city life and whatever, and it is not what your soul wants for you, unfortunately. So again, we are being, right? Things have to crumble because they're so out of alignment. Now again, currencies are based on nothing, right? We have. Everything is created. Everything we buy is created to break down very quickly. Everything we buy is just disposable, right? Even a $1 million house. After a couple of years, you're having issues. You're having mold. You're having all these issues because they use pretty much cardboard to build things with, right? Everything is meant to break down very quickly because they need that. They need that materialism, consumerism society going, right? They don't want people to actually buy something of value. Like, okay, for example, so I was born in the 80s, and back when I was a kid, you could buy a piece of clothing, and it would last forever. I still have clothes. Of course, they're, not that stylish anymore, but I still have clothes from, the 80s, 90s, before this whole disposable fast fashion came into, play here. And it is the best quality. It doesn't go bally. It lasts forever. There's no holes. It doesn't stretch out. Everything is meant to break down in a matter of a couple of uses at this time. They want you buying it over and over again. They can't have you buying, right, a hoodie or a sweater or a shirt that's going to last you 20 years. They can't have that. They need you wearing it 4 times and now it has a hole in it. So everything is bloody backwards, and that's why things are about to really get crazy out there. Things like the stock market, I wouldn't have any money in it right now. So again, don't sell at a loss, but just realize that, things are not going to be recovering the way that even, the economists and stuff think that it's going to be some, couple year downturn, this and that. But we're moving into new earth. It's happening now. So it's not something in the future, it's now. So things that are based on nothing, right? People are sick of valuing nothing. They're sick of it, right? They're sick of our entire society that is fake. And people want value. They want quality. They want, right, to live a different way. And so that's why they're pulling the money out of the banks. Banks right now, right, you can look around the world. There's certain countries that are just not giving you your money anymore, right? We've heard about this. And again, it's going to be the great buy-in. Oh, you don't think that the system and the banks aren't going to all of a sudden, when things start going up, going to seize half your money or all of it? Oh, yes. I don't, right? I don't trust having too much cash in the bank, right? Take out that cash. Cash is better. So even though cash is going to be, dwindling up and down, it's going to be all over the place. At least you can buy some, local farmers market goods. with that cash. Again, silver and gold, always good. But again, do you want to be sitting here, right, hoarding or, you know, babysitting gold 24 hours a day? You know, it's not liquid, but of course, it's always going to have value. Do I trust those cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin? No, I don't. Not yet, right? There's going to be a quantum, you know, financial system at some point. Is it here? No. A lot of people think that, right, that there's, oh yeah, there's always going to be this, you know, this thing's already in place just to, you know, all of a sudden it'll disappear, right? The people that are waiting for their handout from the system are going to be living in a smart city, trapped like a prisoner, right? This is their plan. It'll be you do this, 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 and this, or you don't get your check. Right? So again, this is going to be something that will evolve. There will be eventually, right, a new earth currency. Whether it's digital, whether whatever, right? Whether it's based on your frequency, I don't know. But people that have a higher frequency spend their money smarter. So that, you know, that could definitely be a great way to do it. So again, things will shift. There isn't something in place yet. There's just not, right? And I would not be putting your safety or your life in the hands of anybody that is linked, of course, in the system still, right? And even though there probably are people, you know, ready to really help out in certain industries and the government, things like that, I would not be trusting it at this time yet. Okay, so that's the thing. My foot's asleep. Ooh. Okay. That's the economy for you. It is going to be difficult. Are we going to be, you know, should we be worrying about it every day? No. Your vibration, your frequency, your emotions, your thoughts are more important. Right? A lot of people, you know, don't want to think about that they worked their whole life and now they're going to be losing their nest egg. Well, who says you're going to? Right? If you are in the flow, if you are in that abundance, you're going to be abundant. You will be guided to maybe invest in certain, maybe new up and coming companies that are going to be blasting off. You'll be guided to, you know, maybe create a YouTube channel, or, right, you'll be guided to start a business. You'll be guided to where you're going to put your money to support, right, the new earth people versus the old system. Where you keep putting your money, you're just paying the billionaires. So again, the economy is going to be something that comes, right? We're going to see a lot of things coming, but do we need to be worrying about it? No. You need to be worrying about your frequency, getting into abundance, and then abundance will automatically flow. It's all about your frequency. So don't worry about it, right? The whole world's in the same place as you. Don't worry about it, right? Things are going to go down. I have no idea, again, how it's all going to play out. I can just see it happening, right? You can see it just... it's brewing behind the surface, right? Everything is fake. Everything, you know, everyone is in debt. People just do not have the extra money to spend on anything right now. Prices are through the roof. They're going to continue to be ridiculous. So, the economy is going to be shifting. Again, it has to happen to allow a whole new paradigm to come into play. All right. All right, we'll see you on the next video. Thanks, you guys. I hope I earned a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share. I'm Roxanne. This is EARTH1111. Thanks so much. Love you. Bye-bye.